My goal as a kid was to make enough money that I didn't have to mow the lawn anymore because I absolutely hated mowing the lawn. I had no idea how much it cost, but I used to mow 6 acres on the farm every Saturday. It was horrible.
Right. That's exactly right. Additionally to that, to your point on your book and the glamorization of switching gears here a little bit, the glamorization of entrepreneurship, because we're going to run out of time, versus the reality of entrepreneurship. And this is something that again, we've have hundreds of these podcasts and we have, I don't know how many conversations with people. And this comes up so much that, well, on the internet, the guru told me that you can just do this and all you have to do is do that. And then you place a couple of Facebook ads and pretty soon you just sit back and look out because the money's going to start rolling in. And I've kind of pivoted, and I'd be interested in your feedback here. I said this on my podcast a couple of weeks ago. I may be too illustrative of how difficult it is. I may be right. I may need to back up because it can't be as hard as I remember it being. It can't be as difficult as I know it is to run. And even now, but the reality is it is. And how do I attract people into the business or into the career of being an entrepreneur and the risk and everything that goes with it, but still be honest about it's a nightmare. Right. I wouldn't wish this on. I would wish this on everybody and nobody at the same time.
It's somewhere between doing a triathlon, which but was goaded into doing. I'd never had any interest, and I got goaded into doing it, and so I have to own that. And jumping out of a plane without a parachute, somehow assuming you're going to land safely. It's being an entrepreneur. You have to have a high risk tolerance. If you're a person who lives in a world of safety, I'm working with a young entrepreneur right now. He's 30 years old. And he wants to start his own company. And we talk a lot about what's the risk tolerance do you have? And do you know? And are you willing? Because I said, why do you want to have your own business? Well, I want to have freedom and flexibility and control my time. I said, in 10 years, you can maybe have that. Maybe. The idea of, they call it, what we used to call it, mailbox money. I'm going to post ads and money's just going to come flooding to me.
Oh, passive income. Oh, yeah. It's everywhere. Right. Passive income.
Yeah. So for anybody listening, most of the people you're going to see on the internet ads, the Instagram ads, who've they're standing in front of the yacht with the bikini models and everything. The yacht, the girls, and everything has been rented and paid for. None of it goes home with them. That's just the reality. Someone asked me the other day, how'd you grow your practice 300% in the pandemic? I worked my ass off. Yeah, right. And I volunteered and I showed up and I was a servant leader and it was all about others. It wasn't about me. And when people pick up that on a cellular level, I believe. People buy for emotion and justify it with logic. So the more I gave, the more I did, and the more I didn't ask for something, the more people found that to be attractive. If you're one of those entrepreneurs or one of those startups who always has your hand out, people are going to pick up on that. So I always say to startups, know why you're doing this. And if you would be willing, in most cases, to do it for nearly free or for free, then maybe you got a fighting chance. But if you are doing it like I was doing it, I was doing it to prove somebody else wrong. I was doing it to appease a family member. I was doing it for all, to fill my inner demons with external toys and rewards and accolades. Well, when I got all those, the demons were still there. They were still loud and proud. And if you figure out why you're doing it, know that. If you're building a business to sell it, know that. But then realize what the choices you're making. But don't BS yourself and say, I'm building this business for my family. I'm building this business for my kids. I've never, BS aside, I've never met an entrepreneur who actually was really doing that. Because if they were really doing that, they wouldn't be putting in 80 hours. They wouldn't be missing birthdays and soccer games. They'd be with their kids and have a nice, there's nothing wrong with building a job. Building a company and building a job can be the same, but they can also be very different. Nothing wrong with that. But don't give me this baloney that I'm building this all for my kids. No, we're building it for ourselves.
I have the simple answer to that one all of the time. Anytime I'm asked that question, I come back, I have 8 brothers and sisters, stole food as a kid, abject poverty I was born into, no education, no nothing. I said, if you ask me that question, it's because I wanted to be rich. I wanted to make money. I didn't like being poor. I wanted my kids to graduate from high school and I wanted them to go to private schools and I wanted them to have a different life than the life that I have. Certainly. But at the beginning, it was all about what can I do to make more money? Can I take another job and I'll make more money? Okay, I'll try this entrepreneurship. How do I make more money? And I think that there is reluctance because of social media for people to say that. I always say you can't give away thongs to a third world country, right? For until you sell thongs profitably. You
Right.
can't give away 10% of your profit until you've made that profit, and then do whatever you want with it. But you have to make money to give money away. You got to make money to keep your business alive. And I think that there is a social kind of norm that's happened where we look down on entrepreneurs as greedy kind of harken back to the old days of the 20s and the robber barons.
Well, yeah, or Gordon Gekko, or
Gordon
back to
Gekko. Yeah, perfect. Right. Well, the Wolf of Wall Street also.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Jerry, when I hear your story, I think, well, yeah, I wanted to make more money. But when you share that I came from abject poverty, I was 8 kids. Money, most likely, and for most of us, equals security. It equals safety. Maslow's hierarchy, it's the base. Once our safety and our belonging needs are met, then we can work our way up into, once you have a profitable company, there's nothing wrong with giving money back and being philanthropic. I know some incredibly generous entrepreneurs. But to start in the very beginning, unless you're going to go out and get a bunch of VC money, by the way, if you get VC money and you give away equity, all those different things, you are part of the entrepreneurial community, but you're really not bootstraps. I'm a bootstrap guy. You sound like you might be a bootstrap kind of guy.
Yep.
It's, if we're looking to make more money, because the money we grew up with less. I mean, I grew up on a farm. I had 42 kids in my graduating class. It wasn't like I had a silver spoon in my mouth.
Right.
But the money for me, this is a funny story. So my goal as a kid was to make enough money that I didn't have to mow the lawn anymore, because I absolutely hated mowing the lawn. I had no idea how much it cost, but I used to mow 6 acres on the farm every Saturday. It was horrible. And I would just push the thing. Sometimes before we had a riding mower, we had a push mower. But I always remember, but it just kind of like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. So I still won't mow my lawn, because I can now, I pay a lawn service like $35. I'm happy to pay it, because the value of my time is worth more than that. But the point of it is, I wanted my time back, and I knew in order to get that time and that money back, money is nothing more than an instrument. It's an instrument to go do cool things, to take care of our families, to take care of ourselves, to have experiences and create memories. Money, but in and of itself, really doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, earn that. I like what you said. Earn that money, and then go find your calling. Go find what it is that you're passionate about. Interesting. It's funny that you say that about mowing lawns, because again, as I was one of 9 children, and so we were poor, and so that meant eating liver and onions and all of this shit that I hated. And I can remember walking in the door and you smell it and you go, oh God, it's cabbage rolls, because cabbage and hamburgers cheap. I hated it all. And so I remember saying when I was a kid, Todd, I am only going to eat Hostess fruit pies, blackberry Hostess fruit pies when I grow up, because I had to eat, and I had to eat all of this stuff that I hated. And even today, I won't eat leftovers. I won't reheat food. All of this stuff that kind of hung over that pushed me to where I am now at 52. My wife knows it doesn't do any good. I won't eat it. I won't reheat it. I'm sure I could, and I would like it, but it's just kind of that's what drove me. And that's what got me here, is I'm not mowing the goddamn lawn anymore. I'm not going to owe this 6 acres anymore. So I got to make enough money to pay somebody else to do it.